Crank on the mic, enable the camera, and then I'm going to set it to. I'm trying to do person. Oh, I got to add this to stage. There we go. Because the main thing we'll do is to try to talk about what I have on the screen as opposed to what's going on. All right. All right, we're on. Hello, folks. This is Kenny with Just the Right Angle. I'm here with
Jacques on the block, J.K. Holden Sr. with World News Radio Networks, your favorite network stations, broadcasting Little Rock, Chicago, Northwest Indiana, and north of Little Rock. I want to thank everyone for tuning in this afternoon to The Right Angle with J.K. Holden Sr., that be me, and Kenneth Wallace. Kenneth, we're going to be talking about issues concerning the power grid, electricity, and things that make the world go round.
Absolutely.
A lot of times people are saying that the war can actually be activated and started by cutting power off.
Yes, actually, if the power grid were to go off, some people may have experienced this during the thunderstorms earlier. You can see how everything from food going bad to people not being able to access the internet, all kinds of problems that can happen regarding just the grid going off just on weather related incidents. If you were to have something like a deliberate attack, it could make things far worse and also cause a panic. Not to mention, of course, there's weapons that can do this known as electromagnetic pulse or EMP. That can also knock down a network and cause lots of panic for folks. So we have been desperately needing as a country to upgrade our grid system for a while.
This grid system that we currently have has fallen into a phase we call antiquity. And it's like some of the bridges, like the electricity. By the way, I got to give my sponsors some traffic on this. This spot and program is brought to you by Royalty Roofing and Construction and my good friends over at Hertz Electric LLC. They're making our communities better places to live, work, shop, and raise their families. They're doing their jobs to keep it that way. Whether it's a hole in your roof or a whole new roof, contact Royalty Roofing and Construction. For all of your power, call your bona fide hotline for every electrical problem. That would be Hertz Electric. You don't need a car to get your power on. Get it done the right way. They're licensed, bonded, and insured for your protection. Anyway, so back to the issues that we have. Congress has had a mini session, and I've actually talked with a couple of senators that are concerned with the issue of the power grid and the network. But we're going to go to break right quick, so Kenneth and I can kind of give you the audience a better understanding as far as what we should do and what we should know. The okay, go to a cut. Your
All right, back from break here. J.K. Holden, Kenny Wallace, talking about the energy crisis or the energy issue we have.
It is a crisis. It is a crisis. Don't be afraid to tell the truth. We don't want everyone to go into a panic and, be overly concerned, but we should be somewhat concerned with the issues concerning power, um, the electricity, our bills, and I just think the solar approach is an adequate way to kind of keep everyone. Uh,
Well, it can work if you get the right company. Oftentimes, with some companies, they'll provide solar panels, but you have to invest so much into them in terms of for a house
oh
that
yeah,
it
you
kind of
might as
becomes.
well pay the electric bill, but it's always good to have dual energy purpose.
Yes, and of course with some of these solar farms,
Oh
it
God.
is yeah along with the windmill farms as well. One of the problems, kind of an overview. We have a bunch of energy companies in the state of Arkansas, and each of them have more or less of a monopoly within their area,
Hmm.
and you see a list of them right. You kind of have to deal with one.
One
You
of them.
don't, and you don't have a choice. And so, because there's no real competition, these companies can kind of do whatever they want. They're also kind of quasi government organizations. Most of them
True.
have consultants, political consultants within both parties.
Literally, they. This is literally a congressional monopoly, if you want, or a senatorial type of platform where laws actually have to be written, laws have to be made, people have to be concerned, and you it's not as simple as turning your light switch on and off. When it comes to um, your personal concerns with your power. Now let's talk about, for example, the storms that have come through. Storms, just storms. And I've been in hurricanes, typhoons, I've been all over this country experiencing storms. One of my worst nightmares was one of the storms, I think it was Ian down in Florida. And I was running, running, running. I told my wife then, I said, look, let's just jump in the limo and head up to Georgia. And so this is a kind of funny story. I broke my thumb because she opened one side of the car and I had the door open on the other side. And the wind blew through the door and slammed on my hand and broke my thumb. The first thing she says, oh, now we got to go to the hospital. I'm like, there's no way we're going to a hospital. I'm driving down the highway with a broke thumb. And when I realized it, when we stopped by a gas station and looked at the gas station monitor, we were literally running from the storm. It was heading toward, it was like a, a dog chasing a cat. And I was
Yes.
like, well, dang. And she said, well, we got to go all the way east, all the way west to avoid the storm. So we had to drive like 500 miles to get out of the path of the storm.
Oddly enough, in Arkansas, the storms will oftentimes follow an interstate. They will literally go up the interstate,
up the interstate,
and they will just, and then they'll hop sometimes, but they'll go straight up like they're following it. I don't know. Maybe it's the way the interstate affects the weather somehow. But one of the problems in trying to upgrade our grid is you see these companies here, Entergy Arkansas, Summit Utilities. I had to deal with this issue for a while because there's a consultant here. This is the main consultant who runs the Republican Party of Arkansas. And for those who don't know, the Republican Party of Arkansas currently has 81 Republicans in the out of 100 in the Republican House, and then and then the Arkansas Senate, about more. They have what's known as a supermajority.
Yeah, pretty much all of them.
And of course, they have the governor's seat, as most people know.
Mm-hmm.
But Entergy, this guy right here, his name is Chris Caldwell. He runs the Republican Party. He actually was Sarah Huckabee Sanders' former campaign manager. But he's able to shut down Republican committee meetings. He has the power to do that.
Right there. Who should have that power? I mean, honestly, Kenneth, I'm not trying to force you into saying something that you wouldn't be comfortable saying. I don't want people throwing shoes at you when you walk out of here. You know, if it happens though, I'll be saying, hey, don't throw the shoes at him. Throw them that way. But how do these people get this power? Is this a legislative type of cult? What
No,
is
sir.
it?
No,
Is
sir.
it money?
This guy is a consultant, and he works for clients. Those are him that I've put on him. Meta, which is Zuckerberg's Facebook's one of them. And then big healthcare, Arkansas Trucking is another one. That's why we have some people that don't speak English. They get pulled over. They just get let go. It's because that organization wants that to happen. The reason why I brought him up and talking about the energy issue is 2 of his clients are Entergy and then Summit Utilities.
Exactly.
And so this guy all he is a political consultant, and his main job
making millions of dollars. You and I are sitting here. We might make $400 or $500 today. This guy is making $4 million.
I don't know what his
week.
I don't know what his net worth actually is, but it's got to be close. But this guy, for all intents and purposes, runs the Republican Party of Arkansas. But there's a guy like him that runs the Democrat Party as well. And the consultants have always been around. Have you heard of the movie Mr. Smith Goes to Washington?
Oh my God, yeah. I mean,
so in that movie, there was a guy named Taylor, and I'll kind of show him. This is a clip from that movie. This is Mr. Smith here, and this little guy squinting at him with the glasses is Taylor. And he's the same thing. He basically, he's the one who had the big project with the dam. If you go, Mr. Smith goes to Washington, Mr. Smith is trying to advocate for a camp to help kids, but it accidentally, he doesn't has no idea about this, but it's actually going to ruin the plans that a lot of political head honchos have for a dam that's in the same area. Well, this guy was the head honcho that was running that. And when Mr. Smith refuses to back down, this guy gets the other senator that was Mr. Smith's kind of friend to turn on him, and that's him in the same movie.
This is based on a true story. Seems.
And this is in the 30s. As a matter of fact, this is when America only had 48 states, because there's 96 senators in the movie. If you catch that, you're going, what's going on with this? Because there hadn't 50 been made yet. But this is that same guy bullying the senior senator there to basically turn on Mr. Smith and betray him and try to kick him out of office. And so Mr. Smith finds out he can do a filibuster. He tries it. He passes out. At the end of the movie, this guy develops a conscience and says, no, I'm a crook. We're all crooks. But guys like this have been around since
forever. Yeah. Since law has been in the making in legislation and congressional, senatorial issues are concerned.
And so as long as companies like this have consultants that run both parties and run the party that's in charge right now, you're really not going to see an upgrade in any kind of fixing in terms of the lowering of the rates. The repairs need to be made, the stuff that really needs to be done. What you're going to see is a bunch of pet projects, and there's one that just came out. This is one, you saw this news thing a few days ago, the $6 billion data center.
Wow. What I could do with just $600, okay?
This was announced January 2026. It's the $6 billion data center. It's by a company called Avio. If you try to look them up, they're guys that run it, and it's kind of hard to say who actually is the CEO. They're from different energy companies. I did a video on it a few days ago.
Hmm.
One of them's a guy that runs an energy company in Peru. Another one's a guy that's in Texas. And
They got them in South America and the Middle East, and we'll be talking about that in a second. But we need to go to a break. I'm Jacques Holden Sr., Jacques on the Block, KCTV Channel 10 News, and my very special engineer here today, Kenneth Wallace.
with just the right angle, we'll take a
Just
break
the,
just a
yeah,
little bit.
yeah. Okay.
All right, folks, we're back talking a little bit about the energy crisis in the nation and in particular in the state. Last time we were talking about kind of the problem with the energy companies, how they're more focused on pet projects. This is one example, the $6 billion data center that hardly anybody in the state wanted with all the other thing that's going on.
Very few of us know and realize what to do with it, about it, or how to even use it. And if you're like me, technically, you have visual issues and problems, and you can't read the fine print, then you're better off hiring a consultant to get it done for you. So we're back. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Chicago, Little Rock, Dallas, Texas, Cocoa Beach, Florida, Miami, New Orleans, and Houston, our mainstay and headquarters in Kansas City. And my friends out here in Little Rock, North Little Rock, Conway, and Russellville, Jacksonville, Arkansas. Now, the problem that we're having, and I've talked with people that are in the armed forces, military, people that are concerned with this current issue of this war, so to speak. Is it a war? Is it not a war? Is it what are they calling this? I mean,
it's supposed to be an operation.
An operation,
and
yeah.
And so far, what they've done is they've killed a lot of the leadership in Iran, which has been for decades now sponsoring acts of terrorism and manipulating the energy crisis. They've been a threat to the other oil producing countries in the Persian Gulf area. And so there has been an increase, of course, in gas prices. You've seen that.
50 cents in 1 week. I mean, I've got friends out in California. They're like, Jacques, you got to talk about this. I mean, our gas is